if you're looking for trouble.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Nothing But Trouble podcast. I'm your host, Archie Mitchell, and I'm here once again with my group of friends since childhood. Starting off to my immediate left, Sonny the Sandman Zero.
Hey, how's it going?
Then we go to Jimmy the Deacon of Pain Wayne. Then we got Wallace the Train.
Well, all right.
Rocky to my right.
What's up, my babies?
Then we got Steve Cody.
Hey, everybody. What's up?
Did you get a tongue tied there? And I'm now going to shift us to our esteemed host of the evening, my colleague, Anthony Angelo Zero. Anthony, you came up with this entire episode. Go ahead and tell the folks what we got for them.
Well, today we have our Game of Thrones topic category today, and we got a fun treat for you guys in this episode. We're going to be talking about our favorite episode, our favorite moment, favorite character, most hated character. We're going to do a full review of what we thought of House of Dragons this year. And then, last but not least, we're going to do our first Game of Thrones draft. Now, it's going to be a little strategic because we're going to have a few categories in between, like your best warrior, your best villain, your best leader, who I guess you know, like a Tyrion Lannister type character,
right.
Tywin Lannister, a politician, and we got a treat for you guys tonight.
All right, so
we have
Angelo, go ahead and start us off with our first subject. What are we talking about?
We are talking about our favorite episode. We're going to start it off with a bang tonight.
All right, Cody, start us off.
Okay, I'm going with a lesser minor episode that a lot of people are going to be like, why? Okay, I'm going to go with the episode where the Mountain, got defeated, almost defeated, by, help me out here, guys.
Oberyn Martell, the Red Viper. He did get defeated.
Who also is the Mandalorian.
Spoilers.
He got a little bit, you understand, too hyped up.
Hey, you're on the Game of Thrones by now, then I don't know.
Can I give you the title and the episode and season?
Go ahead.
Okay. Title was called The Mountain and the Vampire and the Viper. The Mountain and the Viper was season 4, episode 8. Continue, my friend.
Now, I loved that episode, and I was a little bit lost with the name of the characters. I am a fan of Game of Thrones, but it was just like the Mountain was the big bad character, and he got his ass handed to him, and the Mountain was killed. He was done, but he was overconfident, was gloating, and, well, the Mountain, needless to say, crushed his skull.
Peak Game of Thrones, setting you up and then tearing you down.
But that is my favorite, one of my favorites.
Can I add to my favorite part of that episode?
No.
I'm doing it. What I love about that episode was how the Viper, do you remind you of Inigo Montoya in The Princess Bride? You raped her. You killed her. I'm going to save something for our favorite moments, but I don't know. That scene, I just get a very big vibe from Princess Bride.
I'll agree with that.
It was based on
It was like really going for it. Kept repeating. My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die.
And again, I think
he fought Andre the Giant, right?
Yeah.
Princess
No, they were
Bride.
friends.
Or were they friends? They were friends.
I must have watched that in my childhood at least 1,000 times because it was like the
Princess Bride?
90s. It was always on.
Well, we already
and
got
you had no choice but to
now we
watch.
already got our episode 8 now.
There you
Oh,
go.
Princess Bride.
I'll tell you guys what I liked about that episode first. Me being the guy who's super into martial arts and different styles of fighting and stuff, at that point, you never seen anybody fight the way Oberyn fought.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it was every other guy you seen
It's a
fight
knight.
was sword and
Yeah.
shield and a knight. This guy comes out of nowhere like a martial artist, and it was the age-old David and Goliath story.
Right.
And you see that at the end of the day, speed and technique outpowered the Mountains, just brute Hulk smash type shit. And he never really, I think maybe he caught Oberyn with one hit. And then he did a kick up and then got another spear.
It was a beautiful fight before the ending.
Right.
It was a very
Just the way he was
glamorous,
spinning
beautiful
the,
fight. The way he was moving,
I
it
mean,
was
but
very
the way they
classic.
crushed
tell
his
you what.
skull at the end of that fight.
It reminded me of like UFC 1 of Horace Gracie arm barring like 300-pound guys. It was like, look, the little guy won.
Sonny, correct me if I'm wrong. It was a good build-up too, because was it the episode before or that episode? I should be your
It
champion.
was definitely one.
It was a good hype
episodes
up because
before.
Tyrion was in prison. He had no one to fight.
Tyrion asked his brother, Jamie Lannister, said, "I can't fight him. I
No,
won't be
he
able to
asked
beat
the other
him."
guy.
He asked Braun.
He asked
and
Braun. He thought Braun. We all thought
no
Braun
one
was the
could do
shoe-in to do it.
So that episode
Oberyn
going,
comes
it was
into
a
the
big hype
great speech
for that
I'll
episode.
tell you
Your
what, it was
champion.
one of the more betterly built up
It may be
moments.
one of
It had
the
a good
best.
storyline.
Really
Yeah.
built it up.
One of the most gracefulest fight scenes that you're gonna have.
And a
He
great
was
ending out of
flawless.
nowhere.
He had them out and beat. He was dead. He was done. It was over.
Can we? Can I put everybody's expression watching that after he crushed his head?
Ah!
Ah, no,
Wait.
it's more like Wallace.
With most of Game of Thrones moments in history, of
Yes,
Game of
I
Thrones.
agree.
Yeah.
You know what was another thing that was great about it, and then we'll go to the next guy, is like they built him up as like, oh, this is the best warrior out there. And then they actually showed you that. Because they would always talk about how great of a warrior Jamie was. We never really seen Jamie fight.
Right.
They would go on and on about how great of a warrior Robert and Ned was. We never really seen them fight. So over here was like, oh, this is the dangerous guy.
Rocky, he had him. He had him beat, and
Exactly.
he had
Cockiness
to
got
go
in the way.
into a prideful,
Yeah.
and then he just, with his last
Well,
bit of strength,
I mean,
the
and for
mountains
the end,
just
when he
switched.
cut him down and he slit his Achilles tendon from the back was genius, and
Well,
he dropped him.
Here's another great detail that you would get in the book. They didn't say that in the show. In the book, Jamie had a top 5 list of guys that he thought could beat him. Because Jamie was the most arrogant guy in the
Right.
show.
Sure.
Oberyn Martell was on Jamie's list.
Wow.
I
So
like to
when
see that.
I
Oberyn
didn't
came
know that.
into King's Landing, Jamie was like, oh, this could be a problem here.
Also, what we're forgetting to mention, he laced his blade with
Oh, the
venom.
guy
Viper
absolutely
blood.
died after. So
After-
there was no winner.
So there was no winning for the mountain because
Yeah.
his blade was tainted in venom
Yeah, I mean, he was a
afterwards.
zombie. He
And he
was
became
dead.
zombie afterwards.
All right.
right.
I'm going to take the next one here, guys. And my favorite episode was the Battle of the Bastards.
That's
That's going to be probably unanimous
yeah.
on here. That's a favorite for everybody.
Great episode.
I was a huge Jon Snow fan. I know a couple of my partners here don't really drive with him about his whole storyline, but leading up to that and everything that Jon Snow was going through, having died already once, coming back from it, fighting, the whole fight scene, that whole war that went on, leading up to him finally getting to Ramsay, and then Sansa being there and everything she went through was just it was that feel good
The
moment
brother
we
was going to
needed.
get through.
All right.
Right.
And be alive.
Right.
Up. He got
For the
him.
viewers, season 6, episode 9, that was.
Yes.
I'll tell you what was a good build-up.
The best
for that.
season in my personal
Yeah,
opinion.
season 6 definitely had it all.
Arguably, yes. I don't know, season 2, but that's another story. Again, leading up, I remember John telling the red woman, Melisandre, if I die, do not resurrect me. Like, oh shit!
Right, he's going- this
they're
is going
This
for
is
it.
We're not gonna
winner.
use that
This is playing
anymore.
for keeps now.
Right.
I'll join in because that was my pick as well. And one of the things that, as a Game of Thrones fan, you deal with a lot of misery at the end of every season.
Right.
That's a good
Yeah.
one.
That
And
was
you get
the
your
first-
ass kicked.
That was the first time the
A
good guys
long
won.
way.
Right.
And it kind of felt like, I'm sure a lot of you, if you are listening, listen because our friend Archie hosts a wrestling podcast. It felt like it was time for a WrestleMania moment.
Right.
And it was
Right.
the first time that the good guys are actually going
The
to
Starks
win.
finally got vindicated
It
for
was
something.
finally Jon Snow and the Battle of the Bastards got their win. The entire battle scene, I put that up there as far as battle scenes up with the Lord of the Rings, Two Towers battle
Oh,
scene,
yeah.
on scale.
Yeah.
It is up there. The music, the score, the actual showdown at the end.
How about greatest production fight scene of a TV show?
Without a doubt.
Right.
Without a doubt, I agree.
My top 3 moments of that particular episode is, I would say one of the best lines was when Sansa, when they met up, and he said, he was gonna die the next day
Yeah.
was super bad.
Oh, yeah.
My favorite scene in the episode is the same exact thing in The Lord of the Rings, but it's also one of my favorite movie scenes. Is when John gets out of the pit. You think they're gonna
I thought
die.
it was that. Oh,
They
great.
look to
Yeah.
the heavens, and just like Game of Thrones, you look to the heavens, and here comes Gandalf coming down. But this time it's Sansa to save the day. But the moment still works.
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
Well, I was gonna say that too. The scene that you're talking about, Sonny, is when he was buried underneath.
Yeah.
Was an epic
Oh,
scene.
that's a
Him
suffocation.
getting
I'm a
trapped.
He had to
claustrophobic
crawl.
person.
He had
Me
to crawl
too,
out of it.
Sonny.
I
Yeah.
can totally
All right.
can't breathe watching
But
that
my
part.
Yeah, I get bad anxiety.
my
You just gotta
favorite
get out of here.
part of that scene of that is when he drops his belt and he's in front and he's holding the sword and all the horses are
I
coming at him.
Totally forgot that
Is-
part. It's probably the
is-
greatest shot in
It's
Game
the
of Thrones.
greatest shot. I took a picture
You
of
took
it
a
and I
screenshot
had
of it.
it
Yeah.
on top of my
Yeah.
mantle. How beautiful of a
I
screenshot
also
that
love
was.
immediately after that, John looks to Tormund and the stupid giant, and the music picks up. And like
How about when
it's
he's
time
fighting?
to chase
We're going.
Ramsay
We're
down.
going.
We are going.
How about when he's fighting and you think, okay, he lost, he's in the bottom of the pile,
Yeah.
and then all the other
Yeah.
horses come.
Does anybody have Battles of Bastards as their
Sonny
pick?
did as well.
Me,
You haven't? Well, then you could jump right in for it. Or you want
I
to
just said that was I said
continue what you want to
No,
say
no,
about
I
it with
said
the topic. Because I want to finish off Battle of the Bastards as their episode as a whole.
Okay,
Just so we
well,
can have it.
for me, it's a tie between Hard Home and Battle of the Bastards, but I'm not going to go into Hard Home. Me being a House Stark guy from episode 1, season 1, I also loved the dialogue between Jon and Sansa, of Sansa being like, they killed our father, they killed our brother, they took our home. And then that one scene where Jon looks to Sansa and says, all I've known my whole life is battle. Can I have a little bit of peace?
Right.
And Sansa looks at him and goes, no.
Right.
That's not the
And-
world we live in. It would be nice.
The Starks finally getting to Ramsay, getting back to Winterfell.
Right. Taking over the
That
North.
scene
Right.
when House Stark's banner went back up
Right.
in Winterfell, being like, I didn't even like any other houses. I was House Stark and nothing else. I also
Can
loved
you
it.
prove that?
Well, they can't see, but I have House Stark sigil tattooed on my forearm. But that's another podcast.
I just thought it was a wolf.
The scene where Sansa comes with the veil, and then Jon takes off and is running after Ramsay, and it was one of the few Jon Snow moments where I said, he's like, you know what? Fuck everything that's going on. Ramsay has to die.
Right.
That's the only
If
focus
Ramsay doesn't
that
die,
I
I'm
have.
going to be pissed off.
And then they run into the kingdom. Ramsay has the bow and the arrow. Jon's blocking the arrows with the shield. And then, right before Jon gets to him, Ramsay goes, do you want to talk it out now?
No.
And
Hold
it
on.
was
This was
like-
before. Can I help you out? Which is my favorite moment. After the big giant comes, they kill him. What was?
Yeah, I was-
Okay.
Wuhan.
They broke down the door. Now he dies. John's looking at him because Ramsay shot him with the bow, and Ramsay had maybe the greatest line ever. And you wanted to have one-to-one combat after all the killing. Like that was a Joker
Well, he
moment.
said, I
for
think
me.
that's a great idea.
I like it now.
I like it now.
So, like I said, just finally seeing House Stark getting revenge, and it was just
And just to jump back in and help talk with Whistle on this, up until that moment, I said it before, we always expected, they very easily could have lost and everyone could have died. That's what happened in the entire rest of the show.
Right.
They never,
right.
So,
And then
so them coming unscathed was like,
we were talking earlier before we started the pod, and like Jon was like ready to die.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it was, I'm gonna take my home back or I'm gonna die. There's no
Don't bring me
other
back.
options.
Yeah.
So for me, Battle of the Bastards. it's
Fun
the best.
facts about the episode. He wanted to make the punches, because you guys didn't mention it, when he was punching Ramsay in the face, look so realistic that he actually hit him in the face.
Oh my God.
Told
And
him
then-
He
then-
told him to lay him out.
I forgot about the for me the best moment when he threw the chair because I fucking hated Ramsey.
I think we all
You
did.
and
And
everybody else
Sansa comes in. They have the little dialogue, and then when she calls the dogs on him, it was like, oh my God, yes.
They've been setting up the whole episode.
Yes!
They never fed the
My
dogs.
dogs.
The
That
whole thing-
scene was my dogs are loyal.
Yeah.
They well, you haven't fed them in over
Yeah,
2
they
weeks.
told them
Right.
earlier.
Right.
When she let the dogs loose on Ramsey, I was like, oh my
The
God.
only,
yes.
the only complaint I have is that you should have seen the dogs eat them.
Right.
I ate them pretty good, man.
I would like to see a more graphic
Wow.
scene, a better death scene for him to actually see it.
Winter came for Ramsey, and I just loved it.
Jimmy, what was your favorite episode?
I mean, everybody took what I was the hard home. And I think we're all agreed Battle of the Bastards, but I got I know Cody with the Mountain and the Viper, but to me, maybe one of my first real episodes was like, oh wow, this was awesome. Blackwater, season 2,
Yeah.
episode 9. What I got out of Blackwater was Tyrion shining, coming out of his shell, being the smart, superior, very good of what a character
Amazing.
Oh,
really
it's just
becomes.
such a good scene. Not to cut you off for a second, don't forget what you said. When he had the little outfit on and he has the axe and he's in the
He was in the battle.
He was in the
It's the
battle.
first time I realized, hey, this show's like this is a really big deal.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
this is
Did you
like
do what you-
this is like top-notch stuff going on right here.
Yeah,
the
production,
scale
the
of this.
production is through the roof.
Yeah, this
Right.
is they're going all out.
Right.
The
Season
explosions,
two,
Right, to
yeah.
the end of season 2.
Well, what was we didn't know what was going to happen. The boats
Right.
were coming, and then all of a sudden, that green explosion, I forgot what they call it.
Wildfire?
again. The wildfire. I'm like, oh, genius.
Now,
How did
in
they
that
pull that off?
because I was
Tyrion has an amazing speech in
well,
that
Yeah.
I was
episode.
at that, but didn't Davos' sons die on that boat
Yeah,
in that
pretty
episode?
much,
yeah.
Yeah.
They had he had multiple sons, or
Definitely one of them
I think
fought
only
through the
one.
whole. But
Right.
No, yeah, just the one.
I have a few more, but my colleagues here are I'll let them name
Wallace?
Hard Home. Hard Home for me.
season 5, episode 8. Go.
Hard Home for me is the most watched because I'll watch it sometimes just by itself. I throw on Hard Home, it's on my DVR, and I watch it because that is the first time you actually get to see the Night King, and like, oh my God, that last scene when he raises up the whole army.
There's no
everyone
music
that's-
playing. It's just
and you see the look that John gives him, like, oh,
Because the
shit.
look was, wait a minute, they had a big army as
Before
it is,
that
but now they
episode-
doubled. Everybody I just killed, this son of a bitch just got up.
Before that episode, I would say the season was going very poorly as far as Game of Thrones.
For a Game of Thrones,
And
yeah.
then that like comes out of and it keeps escalating, and your mind gets blown more and more as it keeps going.
Oh, and I never felt so bad for a character. He may have went out the most saddest way that a character could go out because you're hearing the flashbacks and all of that led to that
Right.
Yeah.
moment.
Can I ask a question?
What?
Could we all agree that last scene where the Night King raises the army of the dead up, could we all agree that was the biggest what the fuck moment?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
You're
that
not,
scene-
no one's expecting that.
It was like, what?
I kind of never cared about the White Walkers until then.
Until
you're
then.
thinking,
Because
all right,
they
you know
doubled
what?
in
I
size.
was never a
You're
White
thinking,
Walker
all right,
guy.
it's just him. Everyone's dead. His armies might be depleted. All right, we took a big chunk. And then when he just, he raised all
So
there.
I was one of the few people who understood the difference of like, wait, those aren't White Walkers. What the fuck is this now?
And it was like, how the fuck do you
All
fight
right.
with this guy?
You're
Right,
saying
everybody
the
was
ending-
killed
you're
now.
saying
Come
the
back
ending
to
was
life.
good. How about this? The what the fuck moment?
Apparently,
for me?
all you need to do is have a little girl stab him, and it's all over.
When John-
Right, one little girl.
uses his Valyrian steel sword and they die like, oh, that's the cure to kill them is Valyrian steel. That's the first time I think. you
Yeah,
found
when
that out.
the White Walker guy is fighting and he hits him, you see the White Walker's face, like, what the
Whoa.
fuck?
Yeah, like,
what the
what?
fuck?
Right, that was
I'm
another
not-
like,
Could
what is
you
happening?
Google what year that was?
Feels like a long time ago.
I
Hey.
want to say
While you're finishing up, finish
What
up.
is it?
2017.
No,
In case the
it's
folks at
longer
home
than
have not realized,
No.
our colleague
Yeah.
Jimmy Wayne, the
2016.
Deacon of Pain, is our fact checker. So
Yeah, he's gonna fact check tonight. Trust.
AKA Google.
He's gonna be the young
Well,
Jamie of
I'm
the
gonna
Nothing
say
But
this.
Trouble pod.
It was aired May the 31st, 2015.
2015.
Wow.
I want to throw this
Dude,
out
it's
there.
been over for 3 years.
During that at 2015, like we had no clue going into that season. With something to add on to what Wally was saying, is there was a major zombie fad going on in America at that time.
Yeah.
With The Walking Dead, with every show that
Even
had
video games. The last
Video
one was
games.
yeah.
There was shows,
They had-
stupid shows like iZombie coming out.
Right.
Stupid shit.
Resident Evil. So now you're adding, you're adding a medieval
And
show with
zombies
zombies
too,
in
yeah.
it. At this point, was good. Also, another fact: the Night King isn't a book character.
Not
He
yet.
does not know. He does not exist in the books.
oh,
He does not exist.
I didn't know that.
That is factual. They were
blowing my
White
mind.
Walkers. They were only.
Oh, okay.
So they dubbed a character, from what I understand.
Well,
to add
another
a
thing.
little bit, by accident, in one of the synopsis, they called him the Night King. Then they took it down, and after that, it was just the Night King on
Right.
HBO.
All right,
And it was just that.
hold on.
Right.
Another thing in the books, Hard Home is just like talked about,
Right.
but it's
Yeah.
never was written.
right.
This was the first time the showrunners put their own interpretation of Hard Home.
They
Yeah.
saw what they were reading, right?
It made Dan and Dave a household name because of that.
Right.
Yes.
So
Okay.
All right.
Who is it on? That's on me
Now,
now?
I was going to choose this episode that you were going to say, but since this was your idea, I'm going to let you have it. But I'm going to set you up real nice for this episode, your favorite episode.
Well, it's The Winds of Winter. It's episode, season 6,
It was my
episode 10.
second or third episode.
This music and this whole scene that's going up that leads to all the events of Cersei blowing up the Red Keep, all the interactions that are going there, the going back and forth, the breaking through with Jon Snow at that point, finding out R plus L equals J, was an incredible moment for the show.
I agree.
And then
the flashback, best
and then
flashback.
just the council. I want to go before the bigger stuff. The council, when he's having the meaning that they make him king of the North at that point, and they just phase into the flashback scene.
I won't say nothing. The spoiler alert for the next category. Keep
Right.
talking though.
When they have the flashback scene with Ned Stark going in there and everything went on, and him going into the tower of
and then Bronn
Bran.
slowly becoming the
And
Raven,
just
the
it's
three-eyed
zooming out the
Raven.
little baby's face, right, holding the baby,
Good
and then
editing,
it
great
goes
editing.
into Jon Snow. Is an epic
I scream
scene.
like, oh, I knew it!
Is a absolute masterpiece
It was
in my opinion.
Produced perfectly.
Also, the scene that they blew up the Red Keep, the bell coming up and hitting a civilian in the middle of the street was genius.
It's probably one of the most beautifully shot episodes. I'm pretty sure Miguel Sapochnik directed that episode.
Tommen jumping and committing suicide.
But the build
Right.
up,
So
But the build up
much
to
an
check, all right,
episode.
what's going to happen? What's going to happen? Where is this leading? Why are we in a tunnel? The music keeps going higher and higher, more higher and more. I'm like, oh, they're gonna blow it up with the rest of the green
That
stuff.
was Cersei's revenge at that point.
It was
And
like
then
revenge.
a very underrated part of that scene when she tortures the woman who shamed her in the middle
Uh-huh.
with the
Shame.
mountain.
Shame.
this is your god.
I'll
Right.
say this about that episode. It's a love-hate for me because it was done so well.
Right.
I just fucking hated Cersei so much that seeing her have that moment
You know what?
made me go, oh my god, this is why I hate you. You never lose.
I like
never
bad
You
right.
guys.
don't
You
lose.
never lose.
Yeah, I like bad guys, so I kind of really enjoyed that whole thing.
I loved it. I loved it.
But-
But to me, it was she got revenge. I understand she don't,
But-
but she was. They
Yeah.
fucked
She
her
wasn't
up.
getting revenge on the Starks. It was the lousy religious people that we all hated.
Right.
That was the worst characters
Right.
that needed to be destroyed.
We all agreed it's between Winds of Winter and Battle of the Bastards. Are you ready? Those episodes were back to back.
The two best back-to-back
That
episodes
is
yet.
maybe the best back-to-back episodes on
Of
any
In history.
television
In
show.
history.
I agree.
You have a battle episode with, like you said, Lord of the Rings with Battle of
Two
the
complete
Bastards.
different episodes.
But then the next episode is more strategic, slow burn.
It was to
you
blow off
say-
your mind. They wanted
I-
your mind
is
to
it-
go, oh my God.
at the end of that episode, Jamie walks in and the music's playing and he sees Cersei in the Iron Throne.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
what the F did you just do?
Well, we're also forgetting another main thing of what she accomplished. She got rid of Marjorie. Tommen killed herself. Next thing,
Yeah,
she's on the Iron
Right, so
Right.
she's the next in line.
She was
her
next
mind.
in line. She was the
Okay.
queen mother. She was
So-
at that point. But I think if you was to edit it and if you were to piece together those two episodes together, it's a motion picture. It's a motion
Oh,
picture
yeah.
in itself.
It's a
You
movie.
add an
It's
extra
a
20
movie
minutes.
in
If it's a
itself,
1.5 hour
because
movie, it's perfect.
You can't tell the story of that episode without telling the story of the next episode.
Jimmy, pull
They
up
go-
for us how long that episode was.
They go together.
It's got to be an hour and 16 minutes.
They go
Something like
together
that.
Hour
so
and 8
well.
minutes. Close.
That it was a motion picture. You cannot tell the story without those
It
two
is
episodes.
all right. That Winds of Winter and Battle of the Bastards are both the #1 ranked.
I would
At
have
a
said that in Hard Home, yeah.
9.9.
So almost perfect.
All right,
according to the
because you're gonna
ratings.
have some asshole. No,
Right.
it wasn't that good.
No,
Right.
what do you compare it to? That last two episodes, Sonny.
Yeah.
That or Breaking Bad, Granite State, and then what was the last episode?
Ozymandias.
Ozymandias.
Before, it was the last one was Spinalia or something.
Yeah.
Maybe Granite State and then Ozymandias.
So
Yeah.
I don't
Ozymandias
know.
is the best
those-
episode of TV
I'll
ever.
close
Yeah.
it out with this. We're also forgetting that buildup of the wildfire slowly,
Yeah.
slowly
Going through the whole
getting
city.
going through the tunnel,
Yep.
getting to the candle. That
Well,
was like
the whole season buildup was them looking for wildfire, and you don't understand
And
what
that-
they're doing with it.
The guy that directed that, I'm pretty sure made the Battle for Winterfell, which was one of the most disappointing episodes for me ever. And I can't believe that guy who directed that directed the thing that we couldn't see that was too dark.
Hey,
But we'll leave that for another
Miguel
day.
something.
Miguel Kapachnik, I'm gonna
Something
say
like that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna kick off our next
All right, we're kicking off our next
Discussion.
topic.
Yes.
with,
Favorite moment.
and my favorite
I
moment
think we
has
named
to
them,
be.
but we'll-
Yeah.
Well, no, this
no,
is
there was a
no,
lot of
not
honorable
a-
mentions that we
Well,
left out. on
not
there.
me.
because I'll be honest with you. I don't know if we're doing a hate it. You
Mhm.
understand? But this falls right into. I'm gonna go back to back with it. When Joffrey died,
Oh, you stole the one I was going to say.
when he choked, and I was like, yes, this
Now, I
motherfucker is dead. I
gotta
loved
add
it.
to how crazy that scene is. It's only 2 episodes, realistically, from the Red Wedding. It was the Red Wedding, episode 10. Then that was episode 2 of season 4.
Right.
And Joffrey is dead all of a sudden.
Right.
Like, what is happening?
Hold up, and then they added more. He was on the cover of Rolling Stone saying the greatest villain in TV history.
Okay.
They-
So,
but-
like, for a guy that didn't know the books, like, what?
They killed him off a little soon, but again,
But they killed him perfectly.
I
It
was happy.
so-
I
oh my
loved
god,
it.
it was so
it showed how
satisfying.
sadistic we all are because we all cheered for a 15-year-old boy dying.
Choking to death.
I like villains. I was upset.
A slow, miserable death. Oh man, I love
Oh,
this.
he
Wait a minute.
didn't deserve.
Why'd you have to
Oh.
make it real?
Well,
Oh god, it was
that
so
was
good.
that was my favorite moment as well. So I'm gonna piggyback off of Cody.
You take over from
Yeah,
there.
I'm gonna piggyback off of Cody. But it led up to so much. All right, so who did kill him? Did Tyrion kill him?
Right.
What happened here? And then the lead up of how. Do you find out that season, or is it next
They-
season?
No, you
They
don't find
don't-
out until season 7.
Yeah. it goes.
Olena doesn't fully say it
Right.
for a while.
So she's about to
Yeah,
die.
Yeah, but no, you found out
You definitely
pretty
know Littlefinger
quickly
was
that
involved.
Littlefinger was
Yeah.
involved.
But when she married Tom and she said, "I'm happy we got rid of that awful boy,"
Yeah, she did.
right?
She did.
Right.
But I
So
don't
you
know
got
if
an
was the
idea it
same
was her.
season. I
All right,
don't
but did we
know.
find out the next episode that it was the piece of her necklace was poison?
Yeah, they give you pretty much an idea.
Because I remember that whole week watching YouTube videos and all the shows that me and Angela used to watch on YouTube. And how did guys spot up? If you pay attention to her necklace, there was 5 pieces. Now there was only 4.
I still today don't know what that means, what went on, but whatever.
There
So,
was
yeah.
something in there. That was
And then
poison.
that's right.
That's how they stuck the poison.
What was her name again?
Marjorie.
Marjorie's
Marjorie.
mother. No,
Oh,
Marjorie's
Elena.
mother.
Elena, yes.
But that to me was the best.
It was so satisfying.
Yeah. All right, Sonny, you go.
I'll jump in. It was talked about in the last segment, but I'm going to get a little more detail. My favorite moment is in the Winds of Winter. It's when we all know that Jon Snow, of course, is Rhaegar Targaryen's son, but we finally see it, and it's a beautifully directed scene.
That was mine too. The
You
flashback,
close up on the
everything.
little baby,
Yeah.
the cute little baby, and the music picks up, and then you hit Jon Snow's face, and the music's going, and the first thoughts, I'm like, wow, this guy's really had a hard, miserable life.
And here's
Right.
He's
the
really
baby.
got it. They really made shit out of him the whole time.
And then the baby that they panned in on was so peaceful and calm.
Yeah.
And then you get to this nervous breakdown
and he-
character.
he goes through
Jon
so much.
Snow.
Well, and then also seeing Ned's reaction of like, what's
What
happened?
happening?
And it's just like,
Go
he's been a
up.
bastard. His stepmother hates him. His brother and sister don't accept him.
Right.
But no, he is somebody, and there is something
He's
behind
the biggest
it.
of the
And
big.
he is important.
You know what was really nervousing for me about what you just said?
Yeah.
I read a good amount of the first book.
Yeah.
In the book, they explained to you John and Rob was inseparable.
Okay.
Inseparable.
But if you watch the first episode too, they're inseparable. When
Yeah,
they all
but
come back with their wolves and things, they're all having
But there's
fun.
only,
time.
I guess you only get 2 episodes, 3 tops. with
really
them.
of
Yeah.
that. In the book, it tells you that like Rob was like distraught when John went to the wall.
Right.
The wall. They were inseparable then.
You know what? I did not know that.
I'm going to piggyback off of him because my moment is similar and has to do what Sonny said.
Are we still in Winds of Winter?
No, we're not in Winds of Winter. Fact check for me, Jimmy, please. How many episodes was there in season 7?
Pull it up.
Had to be
And what was the
only
last
like
episode
6 or 8, I guess.
of
I
season
think it was
7?
8.
Maybe
7.
Yeah.
Season.
Well, the last
I
one,
wanna-
I believe.
I want to say the
7.
last 2 seasons was
7.
6 episodes and 7 episodes.
So there was
7.
7. And what was the name of the 7th episode?
Hold up. I believe it was The Dragon and the Wolf.
The Dragon and the Wolf. That's the name of it.
I don't know.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
You're talking about season 7. Well, that's the end of that one is when they're on the boat, John and Daenerys.
My favorite scene is they finally show
It's the ending.
and they
of that
give the
episode.
conclusion to everything that happened in that story prequel.
Mhm.
They tie a bow on it at that point for that flashback, and we have to tell John. And you see, Rhaegar Targaryen marrying Lyanna
It wasn't
Stark.
that they were just together or that he raped her.
Right, it
There
wasn't
was
that he raped
love
her.
there, and there
Right.
was a story behind it. They was married.
Exactly. They was married.
And again, it's a nice.
And then
redemption.
Bran Stark, because we have to tell him to Sam. We have to tell him he was never a bastard. He's the prince
He's
that
the
was
heir to
promised.
the-
He's the
Right.
He's
He's
the heir to
True
the
heir.
He's the true
Of the
heir to the Iron Throne.
Throne.
And then they flash back on his face again.
And then it ends up accomplishing nothing.
But that
Well,
doesn't matter at the moment. At that time, it
At that
happens.
moment, come on, how
Yeah.
excited were you?
Oh no, I loved it.
From
It
then
was
on,
a
I
great
was
moment.
cheering Jon Snow, but after it
That-
And
accomplished
then it
nothing, you're
just like
what the
that ended
hell?
up accomplishing
That
nothing.
I've maybe watched that particular scene on YouTube or flash forward to that scene countless amounts of
Oh
times.
yeah,
Because that's one of my favorite moments in the show because it tells the final story. Now, was the fight scene in that episode that they had, or no? He fought Sir Arthur Dane, or was that in Winds of Winter?
That was the end of Windsor.
No, it was the same episode.
It was probably that season. A different where Arthur Dane.
Yeah,
But I don't know if
yeah. It
He
was
didn't get
episode
up there
4.
yet, because he didn't get
It
up
was
there.
like-
Why?
it might have
Because
been-
they kept on building
Yeah.
up
Right.
Ned
Yeah.
getting to the
Because
tower.
that's
of Joy.
why. Because I was going to say a good moment is when Arthur Dane says to him, "I wish you well in the battles to come."
Yeah. That's a good scene.
And then he fights, and now it'll begin. And now we begin. It's just great dialogue, great character acting.
I
mean,
agree.
And when you see
I
the
agree.
three-eyed raven, oh, he's much better than your father.
yeah.
He's much
Was
better.
good from there. Who are we on? Who's
Jimmy, go ahead. Take it away.
All right. I said earlier, Battle of the Bastards with John and Ramsey towards the end. But I just cleared upon me because we're talking about the Winds of Winter. We're forgetting the last scene in Winterfell when they declare Jon Snow the King of the North. The King of the North.
Yeah.
The King of the North. And you know what? Like, wow. But then
that was pretty solid.
Littlefinger gives a look to Sansa, and like, are you jealous because he's trying to stir up trouble? But that was one of my favorite moments. And I said it earlier, the Blackwater battle scene in Hardcore.
Sorry about that, but me and Archie over here is having a shot of peanut butter whiskey.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I gotta try
We're
it.
enjoying ourselves.
Who's it made by? Let's give a shout out.
Screwball.
Screwball.
Yeah.
Peanut butter whiskey by Screwball.
I'm going to be
Send
honest.
me some.
I have only
Come on, send
cried
me some.
maybe 2 times
In my whole life.
entire life.
In my whole life.
And it
You
was
cried?
I'm gonna be honest.
Dude.
I want to hear what he's gonna say
Yeah,
right
it
now.
was due to the beginning of Game of Thrones and at the end of Game of Thrones. And I've never shed another tear ever in my life.
Yeah, Cody, don't cry.
Yeah.
All right. I think we're on.
Oh, one more.
Oh, go ahead,
One
Jim. Go
more
ahead. I'm
moment.
sorry.
All right, I gotta give my my colleague, best friend over here, Sonny.
Yep.
I wasn't watching Game of Thrones. I started watching at season 5.
Don't make
And
me
he
cry,
would
Jimmy.
always tell me to talk about it, even though, Jim, I know you didn't watch it, but I gotta tell you this. So I knew about the Red Bull. I knew about what's
Oh
his
yeah, they
name.
spilled everything.
I knew
to us.
everything, but I never had that. Oh my God! Did you really do that?
But
Game of
toast to me,
Thrones
I mean,
moment?
pretty much everyone but Wally watched the
Okay.
show. I don't know about Whistle.
But then
No,
When
I
they
turned my
killed-
brother onto it.
when they killed
But I was
Jon
watching
Snow
season 1.
for the watch, that was like, oh God, no.
That was your first live
That
miserable
was
moment.
my live visible moment. No, why? No.
I hated.
No!
All right. Wallace said that we all were cheering when Joffrey died. I hated that little kid that stabbed him for the ending.
Oh.
That was his like little buddy and whatever. That kid at the wall. For the what? I was like, you bastard! You son of a bitch! How can you kill Jon
What
Snow?
was that kid's name? Shit, I can't think.
That was so. It was like,
Is it on me?
yeah, all you Wallace.
All right. I'm going to be a bastard for saying this, but I'm going to have to go Red
We
Wedding.
gotta bring it up. Someone's
Hey,
gonna
we gotta bring it
That
right.
was your favorite moment?
You cocksucker.
I'll tell you why. Hold up. I'll tell you why. Are you ready? This is why the Red Wedding is my favorite moment.
The
This for me-
Lannisters down there, guys.
Because that moment, I swear to you, I'm watching the show. I've been
Mommy
watching it from the
is
first
sick,
episode.
by the way.
Sick and demented. But I'm watching it from the first episode. It's on my DVR. Every time I come back from church, right, I'm watching it. And I really got no one to talk about it. Sonny, like around season 2, I think, you watch this Game of Thrones show? Yeah, or a little bit. But after the Red Wedding,
It was a job to make. Everyone's gotta watch this show now.
you know what
I
it was?
wouldn't talk to you
broke-
people.
I'll tell you what, it broke the internet.
I would not have a phone
They had
call,
a
a text.
reaction.
I could not talk to them for 2 days until I watched it because we went to church, we come home, and if it was too late, nobody watched it.
Right.
But then the next day I'd see them
As
talking,
much
and I'd be like,
as
I'm
I
knocking it
enjoyed
down.
the Red Wedding, I enjoyed more getting all my friends and family to watch it later and build up to it. I got my nephews filmed watching those scenes, throwing their iPads. It was so much fun for people to enjoy the misery that I once had years before.
Well,
Because
that is when the show went to another orbit of everybody
because
watching
we
it.
never seen a show that the good guys don't win. Most shows that you have the good
All right.
guys
My
win.
original take on Game of Thrones, oh, it's like The Sopranos, he's gonna be the king. And then, the Ned Stark in the show got killed. Well, they're not gonna do that again. Oh, they did it again 2 years
right.
seasons later.
Test us. We'll do it 3 times.
No, I was wrong. This whole show's about Rob.
Guys, Rob Stark
Fuck
is a
around
lot
and
of
find
people's
out.
favorite character. Rob Stark.
Right, the man to your right is his favorite character.
There's a handful of moments where TV or movies brought me to tears. Watching that, I was literally crying so much. My wife came in the room and said, like, who died? And I'm like, you just don't understand.
died?
You don't get. He's the king of the north, and they killed his
Where
dad.
did the show go from
They
here?
kidnapped his sisters.
Hold on.
I am still not over
My
it.
story,
Hold on.
my
Hold
story
on.
blows that one out of the water.
Hold up. I've watched Game of Thrones over probably 5 or 6 times.
Yeah.
Any rewatch, I just skip it. I can't see it. It's too
You won't relive
emotional.
through it again.
It's too real. I can't relive it again.
But that
It-
misery makes episodes like the Battle of the Bastards and Arya
Yeah.
doing what she does so much sweeter.
I'll take you
God,
guys
I
a
hate
picture of when I watched it, the reaction. Coming back from church, I have my brother-in-law to me. I mean, a major, deep conversation, life-changing conversations going on. Me, my
I
wife,
should stop myself from
my
saying something.
grandmother, Michael, we're all in the living room watching it. And I'm not paying attention to what he's saying. I'm watching my show. And I start screaming on the top of my lungs, and Michael wanted to fight with me. What is this? Well, what's this show? What's this show all about?
I can't explain it. There's too much to be
Right. Just watch it and
not-
find out.
Literally, I looked at my phone and I just seen on Twitter it was trending. Oh my God, Game of Thrones. Well, I gotta watch this episode. There's 3 times I didn't cry, but there's 3 times in my life I felt like I got punched in the gut. And 2 of those times involved Aaron Rodgers beating the Cowboys, and the other times was Game of Thrones that episode. And it was literally a numb punch. And like I watched it super late. Man, I wish I had somebody to call right now. And this is really miserable.
I mean, it like after watching it, I said, okay, now what? The whole premise of the
Why am I
show
watching the show?
is Rob has to go get revenge. What now?
What
Right.
is the go-to?
Well,
I agree.
I started watching the show, I think the first 2 episodes on demand. And then the 3rd episode I watched live. Okay. And I was like, at one point, all right, did the kid really get thrown out the window because he caught the brother and sister fucking? Like at one point, I was like, maybe I shouldn't watch the show,
If
but
that
then it
scene
got
don't-
so much better after
If
that.
that scene don't happen though, I probably like, yeah, the show's boring. But like, I kind of want to see what happened to the dumb kid.
You wanted to see what happened.
Yeah.
All right, so
You're on to you.
Yep, you're on deck.
my favorite moment. There's 2 of them. Speaking of Rob Stark, that moment when I forget his name, but he was the Lord of the Car
When he
Starks.
married Osha. What was her
When
name?
he,
No, not Osha.
Talisa.
Talisa.
When he pulled out his sword
Because
and said, the only king I bow down to is the king in the north, and everybody got on one knee, and the king in the north, and Rob is just standing there. For me, that was just, I don't know, it was amazing. It was amazing. And then my second favorite scene, when Arya was disguised and she takes off the mask, kills Walter Frey.
Yeah.
I'll
When-
satisfy with that for you.
When the daughter comes,
Frey pie.
when the daughter comes and she looks at the daughter and says, without the daughter even saying anything, looks at her and says, when people ask you what happened here, you tell them that the North remembers and winter came for House Frey. I jumped off my couch and was like, yes!
Yeah.
Yes! Because seeing Walter Frey die like that,
After what he did to Rob,
seeing
right?
the build-up of Arya's character, the direction that Arya went to, and just that line, tell them the North remembers.
it was a worthy
And
death that
Winter-
we deserved.
Winter came for House Frey. Like, oh my God,
Right.
what a line.
Right.
What about the next episode where she has the mask of Walter Frey and she decided, I can't just kill this guy. I got to kill the whole bloodline.
Poisons them all.
Yes.
It was absolute vindication for House Stark there. Rob getting ordained as the king in
What
the
season
North.
was that?
That was the last season.
Or,
That was the 2 last
No, I-
season. The first 3 episodes maybe the greatest episode. After
so season 7, then we can arguably say is one of the best. Or no, 6.
6.
Six is
Didn't have a bad
6
episode.
is the best
Rocky.
season.
What do we say to the god of death?
Not today. So to what?
Take us into our, if you put a bow on that, take us into our next category, which is favorite character.
You've been talking about him. Go
I
for
think it's pretty obvious. Rob is my favorite.
You love Hodor.
Hodor.
Yeah.
No, Rob was by far my favorite character. Loved Ned Stark going into season 1.
Right. Everybody died a little early.
Then when that happened, that scene of him at the tree with his sword, just slashing the tree, and then his mother comes to him and says, "Oh, Rob, you destroyed your sword," and he's crying and going, "I'll kill them all. I'll kill them all. I'm gonna kill them all."
My favorite moment is when he captures Jamie, and Jamie's like, "Let's us fight," and he's like, "You know what? No, you would win, and I'm not gonna go that route. There's no reason for it."
Yeah, that's another great scene, Sonny. And then Jamie's chained, and there's shit and piss on him, and he's still being arrogant.
Yeah.
And he's
you
still
were talking with Jamie last week.
He's still being a prick. And then when Rob calls in Grey Wind, and Grey Wind goes nose to nose, and he's harling at him, and the spit's coming out of his mouth, and it's like, all right, Jamie, what are you gonna do against a giant direwolf right now?
Right.
Like, now what? His character arc that he had, and one thing I love about Rob that a lot of people don't pay attention to is go back to the scene where Arya is pretending to be a boy, and she's Tywin's cup bearer. Tywin is talking to his small council, and he's telling them, "You do understand that it's just a matter of time until the young wolf wins this war."
Yeah.
Like, Tywin totally understood. He's going about it absolutely brilliantly,
Right.
which the book tells you a little bit more of how brilliant of a strategist Rob was. Because before that was the scene where they waited until night and they attacked the Lannister.
Everything was good until he married that garbage.
Yeah, he was.
Everything was working.
We got cocky,
everything was working.
Yeah.
But I mean, if I seen Talisa, I'd probably want to marry her too. He was strategically an amazing character. He had such a good reasoning for his mission.
And to top it all off, we're all assuming at this point, I believe in the book he was only like 16 years old. I think he was only like 16 years old.
In book 1, he was 15, and John was 14.
So we're saying by season 3, maybe he was 18.
So you have an 18-year-old, and he was so brilliant because he didn't immediately go to King's Landing.
Right.
He was slowly but surely picking off the Lannisters because he knew, if I get rid of the Lannisters, my march to King's Landing is going to be a piece of cake.
Right.
So for me, it was easily right.
That's how old Alexander the Great was when he conquered the world.
Wait a second, guys. I didn't finish the show. Rob Stark died?
Right.
Oh, and
you're
then
at the wrong podcast.
12 more seconds, and the next guy could take over. After Rob died, it got to a point to where Arya became my favorite character. Arya was by far my favorite character after
Take
Rob.
it away.
All right, I got a very popular, so I'm going to take over from this point because I feel somebody probably has him as their favorite character.
Okay.
My favorite character is Jon Snow. It's an obvious favorite.
He's the top pick. It is what it is.
It's just, I mean, his story arc was great. I mean, he was the ultimate underdog in the show, guys. No one ever thought he would have the opportunities that he had and would lead people the way that he led people in the show. I mean,
especially from season 1, getting sent
Jon
to the
is
wall.
the classic good guy hero character,
right?
Which normally doesn't survive in Game of Thrones. He did die once, but he does make it through in this one.
And he became a household name, I'll beg to say at this point, Kit Harington. I mean, as an actor. And I mean, they supposedly have a spin-off in the works,
Well, the thing about Jon is, and it goes back to Rob too, because before Rob died, everyone wanted to see Rob win.
Yeah.
then when that happened, and when
I
they
guess
started,
it's Jon Snow now.
when they started
Yeah,
building
right.
up
Rob died.
He was the heir
Jon,
apparent to
it was
that.
like
Here-
everybody wanted to see Jon
here's
win.
my
He became
take.
the Lord Commander, and then he became the King in the North.
That
It's like you wanted to see him
Yeah,
win.
but watch
I
it. If
agree.
you don't kill Ned Stark should the whole series would have been your favorite character.
Yeah,
Right.
that's why it was so shocking.
Okay,
That's
but
what-
that also goes with what you could look at as the Stark family. If you cut one's head off, the other one sprouts up. So the
I'm
family
gonna-
was constantly
I'm gonna
finding
say
a new hero.
I'm gonna say the shittest Stark character. Excuse me for saying, and it was what was the son that didn't know how
I
to
think
run?
we have the worst character. We'll save
Yeah.
Brad for later.
All right.
That's most
Well,
hated.
Yeah,
well,
we'll say that.
to carry on a little bit more about Jon, it like when Ned died, Rob had such a good reason to do what
It
he
was
doing.
instantly-
Right.
Then when he died, it
transferred
was
our-
doubled for
Does
Jon.
anybody
Fred,
does
here's
anybody have
why
John
I
as
raised
their
it.
Here's
character?
why I'll
John.
put one of is John. I have a couple.
Jim,
but
do you have John
Here-
as your character?
one of them. Here's my take on Jon Snow was.
So John is your favorite character as well.
Also, but I
Okay.
got another, but I'm going to comment on John. I knew for a fact a guy, I'm not going to mention any names, Sonny, telling me that Ned died. So I'm watching the first couple of seasons. All right, who could I cling onto to root for in this game of Thrones show where everybody is an asshole?
Right.
Okay,
Right.
or they're dead. I look at this bastard guy.
He was
I
a-
like him.
He was a bastard.
I like him. All right, I'm going to cling on to him
And
because
then-
I know he's not dead. Because I started season 5 watching.
One of his bigger, because I believe it was before the Battle of the Bastards with Jon Snow. When it was actually episode when he hung every all those guys
Young
at the
on the
wall.
Night's Watch.
He hung the
Yeah.
Night's Watch
that
at
tried
the
to
wall,
kill him.
and then he said, "My watch is over.
My watch is done.
My watch is over." Was his first badass moment of the
Right.
show.
Wait
He
a
was going to
second.
take his place back in the regular world and avenge his family.
Right.
Ned Stark died too?
Boy.
Because
How many episodes did you watch exactly?
because at that particular
I guess- I guess not enough.
Oh, go ahead. You said you had 2. Go ahead, Jim.
All right, I guess I'll go. I'm gonna go side because all right, me and Angela agree. John, do I want to? All right, I'm gonna go side characters. That probably
Joffrey.
nobody. Bronn.
How does it
Very-
character?
Bronn was Tormund. Great.
Davos is also one of my
and
favorite characters.
Sir Davos.
Yeah, Sir Davos.
Sir
I'm
Davos.
getting mad. You guys are talking about my second guy on my
Maybe he had the greatest. My favorite line in Game of Thrones was when John is dead on the table. All the Night's Watch want to
I
kill him. They want
apologize
to
for what you're about to witness.
apologies for what you're about to see. And he takes out his knife. Like, oh, this is going to be interesting. But if I have to go besides Jon Snow, it's Tyrion Lannister.
Good moment for
That's
Davos. A good moment.
Tyrion is mine. That's
A
what I
good
have on my
moment.
list.
A good moment for Davos in there. He goes into the throne room with
Yes,
Daenerys and the Queen, Daenerys Stormborn.
Brother of Breaker
Right.
of Chains.
Jon
Mother of
Snow.
Dragons.
He's the king
King
of
of
the
the
North.
It's Jon Snow. He's the king of the North.
It was just
I don't know how to hype this guy up. You hype
Right.
fair enough. He's good.
Right.
That was a great
throwing,
moment.
King of the North.
throwing out some just rando characters. I'll say one character I really wanted to see more of that was really disappointing was Barristan Selmy.
God.
Man, I wanted to see more of
He
him.
should have been more involved.
Now you mentioned Tyrion, and I have him on my list. too. Go ahead.
I'm just saying, but you
Yeah.
can take him.
No.
My
go
number
ahead.
one, who I wish would have, or I want to see a prequel when they were in their prime, is Robert Baratheon.
Yes.
And
Rebellion.
Ned
Right.
Stark. Oh my God!
And a young John Aaron too.
Yes.
That's I think what everyone wanted.
Definitely.
I hope they give that for a prequel in the future. But I think he had one of the best. The chemistry with him and Ned.
Give me a miniseries
You
of
don't,
Robert.
right, don't gotta be a
Robert
lot of
Rebellion.
episodes.
We gotta wait a few more years so we're not so connected
All
to
right,
the characters
let's,
we know.
Everybody,
get on
I just
to,
want to say one thing. There's a catchphrase of Game of Thrones. My favorite. I want to fuck and drink myself into an early grave.
Archie, get on with
He
Tyrion.
mentioned Tyrion. That's my favorite character.
It's
I mean,
everybody's.
yeah. I mean, look, the main saying, "I drink and I know things."
Right.
That was like it was on every
Well,
T-shirt.
what do you got? I drink and I know
Drink, I know,
things.
but he didn't. See, here was the crack up though. He said it, but he also backed it up because he was the smartest freaking guy.
He was
on the
a
whole
genius.
show.
You know what's funny
And-
for me about the whole Tyrion thing, though? As I always felt like The show just started. I'm watching it live. The Lannisters are evil. He should be evil too.
Right, but see that
It took so long for it to register.
right. Ladies
He's a
and
total
gentlemen,
good guy.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a late entrance. Everybody's
The
third
one.
favorite, BPZ, everybody.
So as
The golden
I missed a lot.
as
From
Sonny
parts
was saying,
unknown.
right, he should have been evil, but because he was an outcast, he himself was a bastard because he was a
Absolutely.
midget. He felt he couldn't be like his family. So he came off as that nice guy, but he also was a bastard when he had to be too.
Right.
So that's what I liked about it. And then, like you said, in the Battle of Blackwater,
That's
he
his
came
touchdown.
into
That's his best episode.
it's like, okay, wait a minute. He's coming to battle. He's actually going to fight. Wait, what's he do? Oh, shit, what did he just do? Right?
Well, you know what was
You know?
one thing that was great about Tyrion is he always kept up such a shield that those couple of few moments where he kind of just like broke down and like really said what he was feeling and thinking was like, this is pretty, like when he told the story to the prostitute girlfriend that he had, Shay. When he was telling Shay the story of what his father did to
Other
him,
prostitute wife.
his other prostitute wife, and he just like opened up and was like, "All right." It was a really
Well, the
good
best
scene.
monologue in the show was probably the trial when he just blasted
Oh,
on
easily
him.
the best monologue.
Let's jump right into Mr. BPZ. We're gonna ask you a question. We're gonna
Favorite
fill you in.
character of Game of Thrones.
Favorite character, Game of Thrones.
Well, my exact thing I wanted to talk about was Tyrion. And
Go right ahead.
did we do episodes
Yes,
already?
yeah,
Yes,
we did episode.
yes.
And I was going to talk about
Blackwater.
the Blackwater.
We'll give you 5
Battle of
seconds to talk about it.
Yeah.
You have the floor.
Well, Tyrion was my favorite character because he started off like very, very, of course, who cares?
Well, he's a total scumbag.
Right.
So,
Right.
Obnoxious, a
Not
scumbag.
even-
Drunk. He's with
Not
prostitutes.
important. And then after they killed a couple of the main characters and Jamie became sort of
It takes a
uninteresting
while to
me.
realize how important he is to the show. For me, anyway.
I
And then when he kills his dad in the bathroom.
Well, yeah,
it's
that's all I'm
epic.
saying at that point.
And then he said he wasn't a scumbag when he married Sansa.
Right,
And he
right.
didn't overdo
right.
himself, that he wasn't a bad guy.
And he's one of the few characters from the first episode of season 1 to the last episode.
Exactly.
Right.
And then also we're gonna go another favorite episode was again with the with that fire they used when they blew up the church.
Oh, yeah, we
went
mentioned
to
that.
the-
Yeah,
that was
that's
my
one of
favorite
the-
episode.
I don't know. That was probably those are my two favorite.
So your
Listen,
favorite
Red-
episode was Winter, okay? And favorite characters,
Listen, the
Tyrion.
Red Wedding doesn't count.
Well, we mentioned
We was
it. We
having
talked
a
about
debate.
it.
Do we like that misery?
To bring you up into it, your favorite moment, just to get everybody in there. Your favorite moment on the show.
Favorite moment.
Just a piece of a scene of an episode.
You think about that for a second, and I'm going to talk about my favorite character because I've been waiting.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
You all talked about Sir Davos. He's the one moral compass in the show that is a total, besides for Jon Snow, he's a total good person, guys,
He's not a tool.
that makes the right choices and doesn't die by the end of the show.
Yeah, he did not die.
Sir Davos.
Sir Davos Seaworth.
But my favorite character, because he's a little, well, maybe not. Me and my friend Walter, Wusso, whatever we call him over here,
Rocky.
have these debates all the
The
time.
man of many names.
I know a lot of names.
Raphael versus Leonardo. Do we like the asshole? Do we like the good guy? I like both. And that's why I like Jamie Lannister.
Oh
Because,
God.
dear God, he's an asshole at the beginning of the series.
And
Dear
he
God,
went heel.
Dear God, he's a sister fucker. Dear God, he's a terrible
Actually,
person.
you said he went heel. He went heel face for the whole
Well,
damn
hey,
show.
Heel
He
face
was the
all
big
the way.
show.
He had one constant that he stuck with through the whole show, is that he loved his freaking sister.
Yes.
And he was
A little
full
too much.
Richard the whole way.
A little too much.
But everything else he did, seeing his redemption arc, him helping Brianna Tart. Honestly, I could have put one of my favorite scenes, him in the shower with her, or I should say bathtub, talking about what went on at King's Landing
Yeah.
is
Why he did
one
what
of the
he
best
did.
acting. It brings so
Gotta
much of
watch
the
that
story
again.
together. And then the lead up to him, all the shit he goes through after losing his hand, he is my favorite character. I wish they could have ended his character better. Dear God, I wish they do. But he's my favorite
Can I tell you
character.
my favorite Jamie moments?
Go ahead.
when
Who put me more? Oh, thank you.
which one was
You're
the
drunk
father?
tonight, Sonny.
Ned or Rod?
I
I always get confused.
Who?
Who was the father? Ned or
Todd.
Rod?
Ned.
Ned. Okay. When Ned Stark and Jamie,
Season 1, yeah.
season 1, and they're fighting, and Ned doesn't look like, I want to see who's better, me or
Right.
you. But
I've
then
heard
the
stories
guard,
about you,
yeah,
but
then the guard pulls him, and did he kill the guard, or he gives the guard a
punched
look
him in the
he was
face.
disappointed
He
in it.
punched the guard in the face.
Right,
and was like, I wanted to fight
I've
him.
been waiting to go one-on-one with this guy a long
Yeah.
time.
That's why I
Right.
respected Jamie
That-
as a
that
character.
totally comes
Yeah.
Yeah.
that totally comes into the scene later. He tells his father Tywin when we first meet him, I wanted to kill him clean, and it wasn't clean.
Right.
And then he tells him the lion doesn't care the opinion of the sheep. So many times together.
Man, I fucking hated the Lannisters.
Give us your most
My
favorite.
character
Yes.
is Tywin fucking Lannister.
He died on the toilet, man.
I'm not knocking you for it.
You know what?
No.
That's fine.
He was a
But see
badass.
the quote that Sonny just said. Lions don't
Yeah.
care about the opinions of sheep.
It
It's
ties
the
so
truth.
much together.
We've been hearing that. We've been hearing that
That's
from
one
our
of the
lives,
first.
but
That's
yet,
one of the
It's
first
such a
things he
woman, oh, yeah.
says. That
yeah.
you understand right away when he's cutting up the deer. He's cutting up. Oh, okay, you understand what kind of a character this guy is.
Right.
He was theoretically the king for 30 years.
Right.
For over
Because
30
He was-
years.
he was Robert's- he was Robert's
just
hand,
horrible.
right?
Right.
And the other guy was
And
a fucking nut.
right.
No,
And
no, no,
the-
no.
the,
You guys got it wrong. I understand what Angela was saying. When the Mad King was on the throne,
he was the
he
hand.
was
He
the
was
Mad
Right.
King.
Right.
And what they don't explain to you really
was
is
running
that
everything.
he was running everything, and everyone looked at Tywin like he was the king,
Right. 'cause he
which
was
is
staying.
why the Mad King put Jamie into
Yes.
in the King's
In the
Guard,
Kingsguard.
because
Right.
it's like, all right, this is the heir to your throne. He can't get married. He can't have kingdom.
It was more or less on spite.
It was on a spike.
This would be an honor for any other house, but not the Lannister house.
Not the Lannisters.
This was a
They needed heirs.
terrible thing.
Because normally it'd be, all right, my younger son will run.
And I know how
Right.
much you hate Tyrion, so now Tyrion will
The
have to
second
be
son.
around.
Where are the Lannisters from? What's the
Casterly Rock.
Casterly Rock.
Casterly Rock. All right, my younger son will run Casterly Rock. No, your other son's a midget.
Right.
Right.
A short person.
Right. That was.
He was a midget. It's
Right.
okay.
Right. You can do nothing now.
All right.
Didn't like it.
Since Robert just got here, Robert, BPZ,
Well,
who was your most hated character on Game of Thrones?
Well, I didn't care much about him. And then after the last episode,
Oh,
they made him such a main vocal part. I think it had to be the brother Brad, where he was king.
Brad.
Brand.
Listen,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's a good
that's
one.
easily a top pick on there.
Yeah.
listen.
Brad.
Ultimately, we always waited for a story. Nothing never went
He was
on.
the only character that missed the whole season.
And
He's the guy
again,
you waited until a branch and you
yes,
fucking did
then
your
nothing happened. Then ultimately, at the end of the day, I don't know what was it? The tree birds?
Yeah,
was-
right.
The Iron Raven, yeah.
What the hell went on?
No, when they talked about that, I would check out. Like, what?
Listen,
I catch up. Did we skip? We skipped Cody's
I
favorite.
believe we
I
skipped Cody's
may have
pick.
had-
I apologize,
I
Cody.
may have had too many drinks, but I'm
All
going
right.
to make this quick. A character that not most people is going to really think of, Leon Greyjoy.
As your
You're
favorite
on
character.
Greyjoy.
You're on Greyjoy as your favorite
As
character.
my
You
favorite
do love
character.
pirates.
He did not have a big fight scene ever, but he was just such a
And he
big
also-
character.
He had
in
great
a way.
ambitions.
And,
No, no,
Wait,
it's
wait, wait.
Leon
Is
Greyjoy.
Euron? Was Euron?
Euron is the.
Euron was young.
evil
Theon
uncle.
was
Oh,
the
was
one
he
that
the
was-
To me, he played a
Tell
big
me what
impact.
it's no.
Oh,
Yeah. He's the one that sees. Yeah.
Lauren Grey.
Yeah, me and Mustafa felt so about the guy with no.
No, that's
And,
that's
yeah,
Leon.
he never
So that
fought.
shit
He never
makes
had.
sense why you like that guy so much.
But he played a lot of big
No, he
impact
did. At the end, yeah.
episodes,
He
and he
did.
was
He
such
killed
a
the
great
dragon.
actor. So
Right.
I'm gonna pick him.
All right. And what about your most hated?
Joffrey, very simple.
So you were happy when that 15-year-old
Oh, I
died.
was happy they killed that motherfucker.
Archie, let's start it off with you.
My most hated. I'm going to catch flack. I'm sure I am, but because she got on my nerves. Sansa Stark.
Oh, damn you!
Oh.
Guys,
Damn you! I don't even
wait,
know you.
all right,
I don't
hold
even
on.
know you
I'm a
anymore.
Sansa defender.
well, you could defend, but let
I
me
love
tell you
Sansa.
why.
I'm not gonna be honest. I'm not disagreeing. She made my body sick.
When she finally got her revenge on Ramsay, and then John was looking to her for aid after that to help with the North she was just being very coy and very. I don't know if we could do that. And maybe we
I don't
shouldn't.
trust you.
Yeah, I don't trust you. And it's like, bitch, you just came and saved my life. You gave me the veil. I'm your brother. You know who I am now, and all of a sudden I'm no good to you after all that.
You ready for this? Sansa Stark, the most underrated, unappreciated character in the whole series.
No.
I
Lady
agree with-
Stark.
with no.
Lady Stark was the most
And I
underrated.
can go on a tangent and explain to you why.
Don't.
Yeah, right.
Sonny, go ahead.
Well,
That's a whole episode.
Also, Bran Stark, which I agree with, but I'm gonna go with two characters. I didn't mind them alone, but together,
Oh my god.
they was the worst. Sam and Gilly.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I forgot about
Was
that.
anyone excited when Sam and Gilly was on the
Every
screen?
time Sam
Talking
oh
about-
no, you
Oh,
don't use a bathroom.
It's
you
time
make
to
the
use the
sandwich.
bathroom.
Yeah.
Oh, Sam, what are we gonna do about the baby? Oh, Gilly, I don't know. Why don't you go have sex with your father again? I'm not in the mood for Sam and Gilly right now. I will pass.
The only thing Sam did was tell us
And I
the
don't
story
mind
that Jon
Sam.
Snow is.
Actually, I want to
You
go
know,
back
it's
and
a
put him as my favorite character.
Can I
Yeah,
say something?
but he did kill a
I
White
like
Walker.
Sam.
He did.
He
I don't
did
like
kill a White
Sam
Walker.
and Gilly together.
Right.
I kind of thought Gilly was cute.
Oh,
I kind
God.
of liked her.
Oh, God.
Cut.
Jimmy, most hated character.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the clear number one answer if we're playing Family Feud. Cersei Lannister.
Well, yeah, that's easy, though. I mean,
But if I
what are
want
you going to tell me next year?
You mean
hated
the real tough
Skeletor?
girl for 6 straight
wild
seasons,
card,
and then in the last season she just cowered the whole time. Cersei.
the High Sparrow was in there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
He
He was terrible.
High Sparrow.
I love a villain. That guy was just shit.
No, he was a piece of shit. That was the only one.
Who was the High Sparrow?
He was the
Well, I'm gonna piggyback off of Jimmy because my most favorite character. I'm
It
also
better be
gonna
what's his
piggyback
name.
off Sonny
Oh, God.
is a combo because it is by far, without a doubt, Jamie and Cersei.
Mhm.
Okay.
And I don't want to
I
hear.
don't. You know what? I don't blame you. I wouldn't.
I don't
tell
blame
you're
you either.
wrong.
I don't want to hear
Over Walter Frey?
any over Walter Frey. I don't want to hear any bullshit about his redemption story. He was good, then he was bad. Jamie, you fucked your sister.
Kind of creepy.
Okay? Jamie and Cersei are the whole reason everything happened.
Went to
No,
shit.
no,
They're
you're
the-
wrong. You're wong.
Yes.
Littlefinger was.
No.
Littlefinger started.
No.
Littlefinger.
If-
Let him talk. Hold on. Go
If-
on. I'm listening.
Oops. If Bran, if Jamie,
Go ahead.
wasn't-
Preach it.
if
Preach it.
Jamie
Wasn't plowing his
wasn't
sister.
Right.
fucking his sister from the back, Bran wouldn't have had to have been thrown off the tower. Everything would have been fine. Okay?
Ned Stark would still be
Ned
alive.
was too smart.
This would have been a boring TV show.
Yeah, and his redemption, or he had to kill the Mad King.
But how do you know it was from the back?
Hold up.
How do you know it was
we've
from
seen
the
it
back?
everywhere.
That's what I
as
want
far
to know.
as Jamie and Cersei's
Oh, what you're saying?
concerned,
Maybe it was up the ass.
Yeah.
I'm actually
eat all the dicks.
I'm
All of
actually
them.
gonna say something really crazy after watching House of Dragons. Back then,
It was totally a
it
thing.
was totally a thing.
It
Yeah,
wasn't
for-
frowned upon.
Yeah, but that
No,
was
no.
1,000 years
No,
ago.
no,
No,
no.
that was only what 40 years before.
No,
Not
70
for the
years,
Lannister.
80
70
years.
years. So for those,
No, I apologize. 122 it says.
so
in the,
listen, I'm
no,
not saying,
see,
I'm not saying it's okay to fuck your sister. What I'm saying is
But
this.
Game of Thrones
In
standards.
Game of Thrones, you watched the whole House of Dragons, right?
Yeah.
They literally married your sister.
Well,
Well,
listen, the
here-
Targaryens.
to give-
A Targaryen.
to give-
it's
Well,
it's
it
cool.
wasn't just for the time. A lot of them were like that. And here's why. Here, I'm going to back Paul up. It was to keep the bloodline pure. They wanted to
That
make
was only
sure.
for the Targaryen.
No,
That
even
was
the
for
Lannister.
Wait a second.
Targaryens.
The Targaryens get to fuck their sister, but not Jamie Lannister.
why is that
Fuck them.
And I gotta say, my most unsatisfying moment was their death. Because
Yeah.
you thought
I agree with you.
John was gonna kill Jamie. Danny was gonna kill Cersei. They were holding each other on rocks. Come on.
But
man.
wait here.
It was so unsatisfying.
And wait here. They wanted to keep the bloodline pure, and I'm going to end it with this. None of those motherfuckers had white hair or silver hair or gray hair,
All right,
whatever the
Russ.
fuck you want to call it.
Rocky. Okay. Why was Robert Baratheon there in the first episode of the pilot?
To get Ned Stark
To get Ned Stark to be the new head of the
Hand to the king.
hand to the king. Who killed the old hand to the king? Littlefinger. Check and mate, buddy. He was the reason why it all started.
Wallace.
Not
you're
Wallace,
Jamie
you're
and
up.
Sansa.
Wallace, you're
You're
up
up.
next. Most hated
most
character.
hated character.
All right, this is a really controversial pick.
More than
Much
my
more,
Sansa.
much more. I'm going to need 5 minutes to explain why. To
I'm getting
maybe,
the
You got
to
two.
maybe persuade
You got two.
You know what? I can fucking do it in a minute.
You only got a minute. We
John
gotta wrap it.
fucking Snow.
Fuck you!
I 100% agree and disagree.
I don't think he's the most hated. He's the most disappointing.
Right.
character.
Yes.
So I get what
He
you're
was
saying.
slightly a bust.
Listen, he was disappointing. He
Like-
did nothing.
Everything
He
would
did
have
nothing.
Right.
Everything
Right.
was within his
Right.
favor to be the best character.
We're talking Ryan Leaf bust here. We're talking Greg Oden type bust. Biblical bust.
Swole Swift type bus.
Bust fucking player.
Someone finished this
And a
bottle
Eddie
of
Lacy
screwball
type bus.
butter, peanut
What?
butter whiskey, so I could hit it
Sean
over the wall.
Green type
Explain
bus.
to me. I watched the whole show. The king that was promised.
The prince that was
What,
promised.
what the fuck did he do?
Well, he was
Daenerys
promised.
That's not his fault. That's the show writer's fault. And we still have a Jon Snow series
They
coming
did
out.
on the White Walkers.
I'm
He did
gonna
stop, yes.
piggyback.
He
No,
can't-
he didn't stop at White Walkers. His sister did.
He
I'm gonna
got everybody
piggyback.
there together.
I'm gonna piggyback off what Wallace is saying. Okay. First of all, behind the wall, he broke 1,000-year tradition and brought the wildlings behind the wall.
You're welcome.
The rest of the Night's Watch turned against him, killed them behind the wall.
Mm-hmm.
At Battle of the Bastards,
You're
If-
welcome again.
at Battle of the Bastards, if my girl Cersei doesn't show up with Peter Baelish,
Sansa.
excuse me, Sansa.
Yeah, I was like,
What?
I miss.
If my girl Sansa doesn't show up with the veil, yeah, it was big hoops. John loses. Then,
right.
so then he didn't really win. Then he's the Prince of Promise. He's Rhaegar Targaryen's son. They end up telling him, "Hey, break your neck. You're banished from the Seven Kingdoms. Go beyond the wall with the sister fucking wildlings." So guess what? He didn't do that. Oh,
You know what?
and
You know what?
his little sister was the one that killed.
How many
the Night King.
characters survived the Battle of the Wall?
Preach
Jon
it.
Snow
Preach it.
survived the Battle of Winterfell.
This is the
Survive
debate now.
The other Battle of
He's in skip
Winterfell.
playlist mode, everybody.
This sounds
He's
like an
going for
Instagram
it.
live
Wait.
stream at 4
Survived
a.m.
the Battle at
What did he
He's
do?
in Stephen A.
You know what?
Jackson.
Let me
He
just give
do.
my. I'm going to be a few seconds here before this debate goes on with my pick. All right, my most hated character, because it's not as big
Well,
as
do we
anybody
agree on
else.
the John Snow? I didn't understand a lot of
Hey,
people.
can I
agreed
get
with
some
it.
airtime?
A lot of
here?
people that agreed with it.
Piece of shit.
My
There you
hated character is Alistair Thorne
Who's that?
from The Wall.
Oh yeah, he was a piece of shit.
Alistair Thorne was an
the
absolute.
main guy there.
He was the guy who was always against Jon Snow.
But you know what though?
He turned everybody.
You know what though? Maybe their whole creed was to not like the Wild Wings, and Jon Snow fucking loved the Wild
It was
Wings.
1,000-year tradition, Sonny.
Most hated character I truly enjoyed Alistair Thorne.
Alistair Thorne was a
getting-
piece of shit.
He deserved
You know what?
getting
I
hung.
Conor McGregor with that. Who the fuck is that guy?
But now you know.
You know what? John Slit was a piece
Kind
of
of know
shit.
who you're talking about.
Conan. Alistair Thorne. Now
John-
he got hung. Now my watch is over.
Jon Snow will always be, to me, the prince that was never promised.
What?
He was never promised. And that's it.
All right. Well,
Take us to our next topic.
all right. I'm going to start off with our esteemed producer / host, Angelo Anthony Zero. Give us your review of Game of Thrones House of Dragons Season 1.
Now, what I'm going to say before, because we got a draft to get to, is
Yeah,
everybody take about a minute to review your favorite moments from House of Dragons.
I
This
like
we can
when,
go
I
on
like when
to-
a little girl fucks.
You
What's that line? He's a little
Tell him what
creepy.
he is.
Ooh, you're creepy.
So we want
You're
you to
creepy.
we want you to say
You're
what
not
you
allowed
think
to
about
say
it.
any school still?
I'm taking the lead. I'm taking the lead for best
Please do.
moments.
I'm
Okay.
drinking so much I don't
So-
remember
so-
what House of Dragons is.
Let's review House of Dragons. What I liked about the show and what I thought was interesting going on. I feel the character of the show, obviously, right now is Daemon Targaryen. He has to be the face of the show right now, in my opinion.
He's like Jamie fucking Lannister. He's
like
like
Plowshare.
He is,
Jamie Plowshare's sister.
he is the key character. That his nephew with the one eye is probably the key villain of the show right now.
I would,
Wow,
I would imagine, but in his defense, he didn't want to kill his nephew, cousin, brother. Well, I don't even know what they was anymore.
Right at this
He
point.
was toying with him, but I don't know if he wanted. I don't think he wanted to kill him.
But
We never started that
I
game.
thought as a review for House of Dragons, I thought the production was better than any season of Game of Thrones at this point.
Yeah, I
I'll-
think it
I'll
was,
jump in.
I think the dragon riding, we never seen any actual dragon riding the way that dragon riding was in House of Dragons.
It was
this
basically
year.
like their transportation. Like it was.
It was
their,
like nothing.
Dan-
We've seen dragons
horses.
all over the place.
Danny Rose.
My
No,
favorite.
but you never had any dragons. The
I'll
way
tell
had
you one
dragons in
episode where I
House of
said,
Dragons.
"Oh, this is what Game of Thrones used to be like when it was in its prime." When they were in the throne room, and it was the what you'll call it, brother,
Damon.
no, not Damon, the other brother,
The king?
Oh,
no, Valerian,
yeah,
the
the-
Valerian.
the king.
Oh, yeah.
No, not the king. All right. And he's pushing buttons, talking about the king's daughter. Pushing
Say it.
Say
yeah.
it. Say it. And he's
Yeah,
telling him,
yeah.
say it. So, and then I will have your tongue. And Wally, you want to take it what he does?
Cuts his head right the fuck
And
off.
what does he say?
He can keep his tongue.
Right.
That was the badass moment of House of Dragons for me.
You know what? My overall House of Dragons, what I liked it about it so much, they really did hit on my favorite part of Game of Thrones, which was the political aspect, the cutthroat nature. Yeah, I like action, but that's not what I enjoyed. I liked it the dynamic of they kind of both houses don't really want to be king or queen, but they're so afraid that the other one's gonna kill them, they have no choice but to be at war. But towards the end of the season, there was the episode where the king is pretty much all but dead, and they have their all big last family dinner,
Yeah,
which was a phenomenal scene.
Valerius Targaryen was. I think he deserves an Emmy.
Yeah,
If
with,
there's a-
Petty Constantine or something.
yeah, Petty Constantine.
Was a fun. I didn't like him in the first episodes, but as he got older and
No,
uglier,
he got
I liked him.
Yeah,
as
the
an
worse he
actor.
got on the show, the better.
Wallace the Train.
I was not excited at all for this show coming into it.
Yeah, preacher.
I was
And-
worried.
And left it at notch 11. It hit every mark it was supposed to. Thought it was impossible.
Can I-
Thought the red
I'm done with Game of Thrones after the last season.
Me too.
I am back on board.
It did all. Listen, what it did. Made me forget about the whole White Walkers in season 8. Made me excited again for Game of Thrones and got me talking about it again. It hit every mark possible that you thought was impossible to hit.
And it was provocative. You had dragons. You had wars. You had fights.
provocative.
You had politics.
Ultimately, House of Dragons, what was going on made all the sense in the world, the actual battle for the thrones. Because in Game of Thrones, there should have been no discussion, no battle.
Right.
When Robert Baratheon died, it was, what's his face?
Joffrey.
Joffrey was the king. That was supposed to be it.
Right.
This one, there was too
Yeah,
many.
they had
little-
no proof that he
there was
wasn't
no
who he
proof, there
was.
was no. In this one, you know what? Who should be king?
There was a lot of
He
debate.
left it to his daughter, but now he's got a son. It was great.
No, I agree.
My favorite moment in that one was, what was the king's name, Angelo?
Valerius.
Valerius.
All right, Valerius, whatever, where
Love
his
him as a
wife
character.
came to him and told him, cut out the little boy's eye. Well, it's his grandson because he cut out his son's
The,
eye.
the whole
Right.
dynamic of
That-
their
right.
family feud.
That scene there was
You
like, wow.
truly,
Yeah.
you truly feel bad because he tried with
Yeah,
all
he
his heart
really
to put his
did.
family together, and he failed.
There's a scene where he says, "I'm with my family. I love you all so much, and I
Last
want
scene,
us
last
to
scene.
be together."
Last scene.
And it's just
Once he died, they went right on it.
I'll be honest. All the seasons that you had, I've never gotten emotional. Of all the other Game of Thrones, I got emotional when he cried for his family. That you are all at war. Please stop fighting.
Just for
House
give me
of
one
Dragons-
The
line.
second he left, they started killing each other.
Right, all over again.
House of Dragons had an amazing advantage over season 1 of Game of Thrones. That we know what Game of Thrones is. We know what the Targaryens are. I have a feeling how it was, so they didn't have to explain
Right.
and get. So we were just in it, and it's weird that I think that House of Dragons season 1 is kind of probably better than the first couple of seasons maybe of Game of Thrones.
I was hooked after one
Season two
episode.
of Game of Thrones.
Oh, I
Well,
just
Come on, when the boys, when the boys are riding the dragons in this,
Name me another big episode
well-
in season 2 of Game of Thrones other than Blackwater.
I gotta take over with House of Dragons. Okay, House of Dragons is like the bad taste that was left in my mouth from Game of Thrones.
It was a nice
Okay.
redemption.
Right? It was the same thing like the Star Wars movie, which future alerts, we will be talking about
Episode
Star
9,
Wars
without a doubt.
eventually. Okay.
Oh God.
And the way that
Me and Cody talking about the last.
oh, we're gonna
Jedi.
kill ourselves. And the way that Mandalorian single-handedly saved Star Wars and brought it back, that's what House of Dragons did with Game of
It
Thrones.
helped the fandom.
It did everything. Like, okay, I told my brother, you got to watch this. It's redeeming Game of Thrones. I had high expectations when I knew that Damon, okay, that character was in it. This is a good actor.
Oh, he's
I hate
fantastic.
I hated the little girl, okay, even though my cousin over here, you understand, got excited from that was
Oh,
go back,
put that shit
go
on
back,
me.
go
You
back.
said that shit
12
on me.
minutes ago,
You
You
literally
said
said it at the beginning of the show.
I don't know what we're talking about.
she was the only character I hated.
Well, listen, I have to say, Alice and Hightower, both characters I thought were phenomenal. The old and the young. I hated the Rihanna, whatever her name was.
I loved it, the
Right.
King's Wife.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I loved it. Watch
No,
it. Can't wait for
To
season 2.
piggyback off of Cody, it was redeeming for my
Yeah.
fandom. It made me feel a little better. Game of Thrones left me wanting and very angry. House of Dragons made me feel like a hug. Like, here, it's okay, don't worry.
Yeah, like
You know,
we're back.
We're
Things
back.
are
It's
again.
good. The Damon character, you mentioned the chopping of the head off. Say it.
Right.
Say it. He can keep his tongue.
I love
That's-
those. Come on, say it.
But
The way he
also,
looked at him, come
yeah.
on. Come on.
But
Oh,
also,
you're busted.
Sonny
Say it.
mentioned the dinner afterwards when he is begging his family to come together and to calm down and to stop fighting.
When
Tells them-
Damon Targaryen in the first episode is talking with the sea serpent, and the sea serpent is talking real bad about his brother, and when he gets
Yeah.
mad,
So
hey,
that's-
Hey,
that's my brother.
That's my brother. You
I
see a lot
guys,
of
I forgot to mention when the king walks in and he looks terrible.
Yeah.
and
And
he
he
goes,
drops his brother grabs his crown. Gets
But you
on.
know what's up? I said I got
Yeah,
it.
when
It's me,
his brother helped him up
Yeah,
and put
right.
his crown
I got
on.
him.
but then he looks at the king's hand and he goes, I'll sit on the throne today. In other words, you've been doing too much.
Right.
It's
That
my
was
turn.
a great scene.
You know what I mean?
There was a lot of memorable
Yep.
scenes.
My
Definitely.
favorite Damien also was when he gets a letter from his brother. I will be here in certain weeks to help you win this war. Too. I'm paraphrasing.
He was going,
And
right.
the nervous breakdown that he
I'd
got,
rather just end this
he
war
ended
myself.
it himself with his brother's nervousness that he was eating, his aggravation. Oh, really? Well, watch this.
But it was also, see, you mentioned the helping his brother. When him and the sea snake are plotting, and so it means we're the outcasts,
Yeah.
we're the bastards. But then when his brother needed him, he immediately
yeah.
jumped into action and went and gave up his partnership with that guy for a little while until he made the marriage when he married his daughter
Mhm.
and made everything right again. There was a lot of
I really liked when the uncle fucked his niece.
Wally, we get it. You loved it.
All into the inside.
when did this become the Redneck Podcast?
I gotta
Say it to him. Lay it on him.
You're creepy.
Thank you. Now,
I'll take over. First of all, we didn't really dive into it, but we all agree how much we hated season 8. We all hated it.
That's its own podcast.
I liked it. For me, Allison, Hightower, and Damon are the two best characters. I'm not as into it as the rest of they are. The rest of the guys. Yeah.
Give us an explanation why.
If it wasn't, excuse me, if it wasn't going to be Robert's Rebellion, I would have liked to have seen the Targaryens at their highest seat of power and glory.
not so much turmoil.
We're getting the Targaryen reign towards the end, and they're kind of shitty now, and a lot of as many dragons as there are, a lot of them died off, so we're getting the end
I think
of the Targaryen.
I think from what Damon's count was, there was like 27 dragons between the wild ones and what they had, and what the rest of the Targaryens that was.
I'm not
bad.
saying I didn't like. I don't.
No,
like
but
it.
you're not all in yet.
I don't like it as much as the rest. of the guys
You're not
did.
all in yet.
Loved the scene when Damon went by himself and he won the battle. Allison Hightower for me is a great character. I like it. Didn't love it.
I think it's better season 1 versus season 1 of Game of Thrones because you're so into it. I think it's better.
As to piggyback off what my brother said, the Rise of Skywalker left such a bad taste in my mouth that it was hard for me to get into Mando immediately, but loved it. Season 8 has left a really, really bad taste in my mouth, so I'm still I'm gonna wait to see what season 2.
Angelo,
I'm dipping my toes.
You know, it brought back the fire of Game of Thrones.
I agree.
It did, but I
It
don't
brought
forget
back
what you're
the
going to
fire
say.
of Game
I was
of
actually going
Thrones.
to add to this. It brought back all the fire, but this is the only thing versus the real Game of Thrones. Now, what? Now they're just battling within each other, which is kind of boring.
Well, that's the dance.
But see, that's kind of
We
boring.
know
Compared
how
to
it's
Game of
gonna end.
Thrones, there was White Walkers, there was these guys, there was Targaryens.
there was always a threat.
It was all over.
Right.
Now it's just
more the
them.
basis of the show is going to be recruiting more people.
Well, yeah,
for
More
it.
houses.
More
More
houses.
houses.
Well,
Oh,
people are
more
going
interesting.
around.
Me fighting a white zombie or me fighting Archie right now?
Right.
Me and Archie going at it would be pretty interesting.
Can I get that rebuttal? No, not at all.
Well, here I'll close myself off with this. My thing is with it is
right here.
I know
What?
I know exactly how it's gonna end. That's
Well,
my thing.
All right. What you guys have
I agree
all
with you also.
been waiting for.
Now, I just want to say something real quick before Angelo gets into this. We are asking our viewers, our listeners, you are going to listen to this draft that Angelo's put together for us, that we're going to each pick our few Game of Thrones characters. And then you are going to comment who you thought had the better draft and who has the best team. All right? So we're counting on our
Please,
listeners
if you
here.
give it a view, give it a comment, guys.
Right.
That's all we're asking
That's
for.
all we're asking for.
All we're asking for is just a comment.
Who had the best draft?
Who you think had the best draft?
And
And we're going to quote it for you for the end. This way you got an idea.
And who
And
was
what
who
you
was the
base-
best in the podcast?
And what you base your opinions on is
Right.
we have a strategic warrior who leads the army and leads the battles. Then you have your politician who's running the kingdom.
That's a Tyrion, a Tywin
Tyrion,
Lannister.
a
Hey, stop
Tywin.
dropping it.
You have your battle character like Jon Snow, someone like that. Then best villain. So those three categories is what you're basing
So, like,
your
this-
opinion
I'm
on
gonna
of who
fill
you
out my
think
slash spot.
has the best
Right.
team.
All right.
All
Take
right.
it away, Anthony.
All right. Our current draft order is I have the first pick.
How convenient.
Archie has the second pick.
Shenanigans.
Has the third pick. Jimmy has the fourth pick. Sonny has the fifth pick. Rocky has the sixth pick.
The train.
The train. Wally has the seventh pick. And Mr. BPZ has the eighth pick, which is back-to-back picks.
Back to that.
All right, so lead us out, Anthony.
I will be starting it. You can write it right on here. With the first pick in the Game of Thrones draft, I'll be drafting Jon Snow.
Yeah,
All right. Yeah, that's definitely a number one overall.
good pick.
Could I draft dead characters?
Yeah,
Sure.
you can.
My
That's
first
half
draft
of the
pick.
characters are dead.
My first draft pick for my team, I will be taking Tyrion Lannister.
Tyrion
I told you.
Lannister.
All right.
Right, hold on.
Who's next, Angie?
Okay. Third is Cody. Cody, you're up to bat.
All right, I'm going to go with the guy that almost killed the mountain.
He's
Over in Martell.
Over in Martell, the Red Viper.
The Red Viper.
That was a cool character.
Jimmy.
He was almost like you.
Red Viper. Give me a second.
Jimmy, hold it up for us so we can see who was drafted.
Jimmy is working
Hold
the board.
it
in his
really
defense.
high up with your arms.
Yeah, so we
So
get
we
good
can all
TV
see it.
connection too.
So far, to fill us up, our first three picks are Jon Snow
I
to
have
me.
my app, so you don't.
Archie has the second pick. He took Tyrion Lannister.
You know what?
Cody took the Red Viper.
I'm going for the best villain on the whole show. I want that number one spot for best villain. Give me Cersei. Lannister.
Oh,
Jimmy
Lannister.
Wayne.
Wow, the first
Wayne takes Cersei.
Jimmy loves women.
Sir, Sonny.
Me too.
I'm gonna go with a guy that I wanted to say is my favorite character. I think, without a doubt, he's easily the most strategic of all of Game of Thrones. And if he doesn't let his son kill him on the toilet, he wins everything. It's Tywin Lannister.
I like it.
Tywin
like it.
Lannister off the board.
Really
So
good call
currently
as
our fourth pick was Cersei, and our fifth pick to Sonny was Tywin Lannister.
A lot of Lannisters on that list so far. Rocky.
Also Rocky.
I'm taking my boy. Give me Rob Stark.
Of course.
Rob Stark.
He
Great
died like a
board.
fool.
Great warrior and one of the more brilliant strategic.
I agree with that.
I think
Army
he was a
leaders.
better
He
strategic
could be
leader than a warrior.
He could be good in a slash
All
spot
right,
there.
recount of the first picks. First pick, Jon Snow to me. Second pick to Archie is Tyrion Lannister. Cody takes the Red Viper over in Martell. Jimmy takes Cersei Lannister. Sonny takes Tywin Lannister. And Rocky Wusso takes Rob Stark.
Go ahead, Wally.
Oh, is it me?
Yes.
Let me see the board a little bit.
He just read you the
He
name.
just read it off.
I didn't pay attention to what he just said. All
You're
right.
going to take the sister fucker, aren't you?
No, I'm taking Joffrey.
Joffrey
Well, we're
Lannister.
going villains. I'm going with that one. Give me
All right.
Joffrey.
BPZ.
Joffrey.
Beat my villain.
No one hasn't took the actual Queen of Dragons yet?
No.
Daenerys, no.
No, she's available.
She's your strategic person at this point. You don't get her dragons, though. She would be strategic. She's not going to fight.
You only
don't
got
get
a
a dragon.
dragon.
She-
Her
No,
breast.
she would be ruling your kingdom.
All right, give me, what's her name? Cersei?
Cersei
No,
Lannister.
Cersei's gone.
No.
Oh, no. Daenerys Targaryen.
Daenerys Stormborn Targaryen.
First in her name.
And give me Count Drago.
Yeah!
Khal Drogo.
They
Good
used, to,
pick.
they used to fuck.
Hard.
All right, it's back on me.
Yes, Wallace.
All right, let me give a first review. First pick, Angelo takes Jon Snow. Archie, second pick, takes Tyrion Lannister. Cody takes Oberyn Martell with the third pick. Jimmy takes Cersei Lannister with the fourth pick. Sonny with the fifth pick takes Tywin Lannister.
All right, we get it. We don't need to do
We
all of
get
that.
it.
Yeah,
All right.
Angelo, really?
All right, Wally.
Robert Baratheon. We're done.
Well, don't break Cody's table.
Who taking
Wallace takes Robert Baratheon. Rocky, you're up next.
Well, I need someone to rule my kingdom, and I would like a kingdom ran with honor and loyalty. So I'm going. My first pick's Papa. Give me Ned Stark.
All right. I sense a
House Stark in the house.
rhythm here.
Little bit.
Okay.
Ned
All right.
Stark.
Who's up next? Sonny? Sonny Zero.
Well, I already have strategic on there. So I have a number 2 pick. And I got my 3 pick and I'm debating. But I'm going to go Sir Arthur Dayne. One of the greatest knights in the history of Game of Thrones.
Sir Arthur
Nice.
Dayne.
I like it. I like it.
to go with Tywin
That
Lannister.
pick shouldn't count.
Why?
I don't know.
All
We've
right.
seen him fight.
Wally, you're drunk.
All right.
No, so there's nobody drunker than me right now.
Sonny takes Sir Arthur Dane with his second pick.
Jimmy Wayne?
Come on, Jimmy. Yeah.
Jimmy, read it back.
Yeah.
With the first pick.
He takes Gilly.
Give me.
Shut up. No names. No names.
Give
me the hound.
There's another
Sandor
one.
Clegane.
Yeah.
At your
No, the mountain. I'm
The
sorry.
mountain.
All right, he fixed it. It's the mountain.
Zombie mountain or normal mountain?
I get both.
Hey, I don't think that should count.
Wait, does he get both?
I don't count.
No, you got to
Cody?
say zombie mountain. The mountain.
Okay, all right, so this is like my king, right? Like
Yeah.
This is your leader.
my lead, Robert Baratheon.
It's already
We
taken.
already took
No,
him.
no,
Wally took him.
You want the other one? You want
Yeah,
Stan?
give me Stannis.
Stannis Baratheon off the board.
Good pick.
I have to go with one of the brands.
Who picked? You picked that as the pick.
I am going to take for my second pick, as she never died on the show, and she was a badass through the entire show.
Yeah, that's good.
Give me Arya Stark.
Good pick.
Yeah, there would have been no reason. I wanted to go Arya, but there would have been no reason for me to pick her.
Well,
Because I
I think I know you're going as your last one.
All right.
Angelo with
my
back-to-back
second pick,
picks.
I'm going to take his main counsel, which would be Davos Seaworth.
All right, that's a good pick.
So dumb.
Sir Davos.
Why did you take that little girl that he was always watching?
All right, as my key villain of the show,
What's her name?
I am going to take Littlefinger.
that's who I
You were
wanted.
probably- I know you like Littlefinger, so you're probably
Adam is my
going
number 2 strategic
Really?
mastermind.
That's why I wanted as my villain.
So like,
All right, Artie.
So like weekly, are we gonna?
So my kingdom I want ruled by Tyrion, and Arya is my what you call it. So I need a villain, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the Hound
All right.
because I like the way Arya and the Hound act
you have,
together.
all right.
Yes.
Sandor Clegane.
Wait,
Yes.
they never fucked, did they?
Wally loves sex.
Not the Game of Thrones you're looking at.
Not right.
That's
Game
Game
of
of
Thrones.
Thrones.
Game of Bones,
Cody.
Wallace.
Cody,
That's your favorite character. Euron Greyjoy's there.
Do it.
Take the other great joy.
Euron Greyjoy.
So I need a villain? Because Count Drago wasn't a villain.
Well, they could count. Depends on how you want to go.
all right, who's up? Jimmy.
Yeah, give me one. All right, I got.
Jimmy is looking at a
Warrior
list of
leader.
characters.
I like how you packaged the mountain and Cersei together.
You like
I
that?
like how we're accommodating.
That's what I did with Arya and the Hound. Yeah.
Together of the characters.
I'm surprised Brianna Tarr's still there.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big character.
How about Daenerys spoiling him with the last pick?
Cody taking
Ryan?
Stannis kind of killed me.
That was a good pick.
That
Yeah.
was my pick. Hold up.
Wow, Jimmy's confused
Really?
right now, guys.
No, I can't believe. Give me Jamie Lannister. Yeah. Well, what'd you
Oh,
say?
nobody
Jamie?
wants the sister fucker, except for you.
So I'm next.
Or Wally.
I could do the pick that would win
So
me
you
the
got
draft.
the warrior
Yes.
right
Now
there.
look at this. I got Cersei, the Mountain, and Jamie. I'm good for all 7 seasons until the last episode.
Sounds like a
Right.
menage a trois
I
of
could
death.
take the pick that win me the draft,
Yes.
or I could be
I
go
think
against,
I won the
or I
draft.
could be a dick and not listen, and I could take a guy and not take a villain because I'm stubborn, and I could take a guy that survived the battle of Winterfell, survived the battle of the Wall, survived the battle of
Oh, God, I know what you're gonna say.
Stop throwing markers
I
in
know
Sonny.
Tormund Giantsbane. I don't care what anybody says.
All right.
Who's that?
You think I'm too ready?
I was gonna say,
Tormund.
All right.
Tormund.
Rocky,
how long
Your
did you
last
finish
pick.
one, bro?
I need a
Him and
villain.
Jon Snow was the only guy that was at all of the. He was at the Battle of
you're going to take
Hardhome.
Sansa Stark, aren't you?
Don't get along.
Sansa's not a villain. I need a villain. So I'm going to take the villain of villains.
Uh-huh.
Give me Ramsay.
Yeah, I mean that was
Oh
the
my
first guy I was thinking of.
Wow, that one might be a sleeper pick.
As much as I hate him, I need a villain. Ramsey.
credit, he was
All
probably
right,
the
Trey.
toughest villain in the
Wallace,
show.
yes.
Yeah.
I take the Night King. You guys are idiots. That was the villain of villains.
Maybe.
He was
You know what?
available.
Like
Yeah.
nothing. Like
That
My little girl.
okay.
What do you call it?
That
Arya
little
Stark
girl is
killed
one
her.
of the most dangerous people.
Right,
I've ever
my
seen.
little girl killed him. Arya.
End this off with the winning and your 12th fantasy.
You should take since you got a combination of guys that fucking area. You should take the guy Sonny's favorite character.
Oh no.
Oh, I need a villain.
What was his name? Driving on a car. What was his Darius? Gary on the horror.
That's a bonus. That's a slide.
Yeah, no, Dario
Oh,
Naharis.
I need a villain. Yeah, that
Yeah.
is something
No,
Oh,
special.
who's the pirate guy from last season?
Cody was
Cody got him.
favorite
Yeah,
character.
yeah.
Wally
You're on
actually
great
took
one.
my pick.
Huh?
Night
Wally
King.
took my pick of the Night King.
I didn't know that that king was available.
I don't know.
I called
I
shenanigans.
think Ramsey was a better
Did
villain.
I take the Snow Walker dragon?
No,
no
dragon.
Oh,
No,
we had a whole
dragon.
discussion.
No dragon.
Who thought you had that life like that?
I don't have any villains on my list.
Hey, I gotta pee. Let's close out this podcast.
All right, someone took Tyrion.
Yeah.
All right, read us the list.
Lena Martell.
Give me a Lana Martell.
Give him a Lena Martell. He needs another strategic player.
All right.
She was the old lady of the Martell family.
Oh my God!
Well, I know people that I just don't know. I can't
Wait
think
a
of
second.
Now you
Nobody-
can give us a read of the list of this are the teams, ladies and gentlemen.
All right.
Nobody took Sam.
No, who's
No
gonna
one
take
wants
Sam?
him.
Nobody took Sam.
Gilly.
All right.
No, give me Gilly.
Gilly.
I had the first pick, so my full team reads out with the first pick: Jon Snow, Davos Seaworth, and Littlefinger.
Great, right.
That is Angelo's team. So if you like my team, say it in the comments. Archie's team with the second pick took Tyrion Lannister, Arya Stark, and the Hound.
If you like Archie's team, comment.
Now
In the
go back
comments.
to your.
Cody's team with the third pick took the Red Viper, Oberyn Martell, Stannis Baratheon, and Euron Greyjoy. If you like his team,
Say it in
let
the
us
comments.
know in the comments. Jimmy, with a good draft, by the way.
Thank you.
Incredible draft, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you.
Cersei Lannister, the Mountain,
And
and
Jamie
Lannister with the fourth pick.
To be fair, all of them died in the same episode.
Yeah,
the same episode they died.
None of my characters died.
Sonny
Good for you.
took Tywin Lannister,
Died in the toilet.
Sir Arthur Dayne,
Yeah.
who maybe had like 30 seconds of screen time.
He was pretty tough though.
And he took Tormund Giantsbane with the fourth pick. All right. Rocky took the Stark family pretty much. Took Robb Stark, Ned Stark, and Ramsay Bolton.
And House
Wallace-
Stark was the family who came out on top at the end.
Yes, it
you
was.
guys want to vote
I
for the
think me
best
and Rocky's team are
Vote
killing
for
each
Rocky.
other.
And Wallace the Train took,
The best team.
he took, who was that?
Joffrey
Joffrey
Lannister, who
Lannister.
died.
Lannister,
Who died?
Robert Baratheon,
Who
and the
died?
Night King
Who died?
Story, but they really-
They're all dead.
to finish out the seventh.
He had like 6 villains.
BPZ to finish out the draft took Daenerys Stormborn Targaryen,
What?
Count Drago, Jason Momoa,
Best sex scene in the
and
show.
Olenna Martell.
Actually, I'm scared yet.
So if you like it, the teams go back to the list.
No,
Pause
listen.
it, give us an idea. Give me 1 second, and just let us know in the comments. That's all we're asking for. What team you thought was the most strategic
Now,
that
at
fit
this point,
together?
You've been listening for over an hour and 30 minutes. At the very least, you could drop you could say who you like.
Right.
And
If you got this
yes,
far
you came
in the
this
show,
far. You can say which
at
team
least
you
give us a comment of
Or at least tell
what
us
team
we
you
have
like.
no lives. And let
Right.
us know we need to get new jobs.
So as you can tell, we are all really big Game of Thrones
Happy more
fanatics.
peanut butter shots.
And we hope you enjoyed the show.
Is
We
that
want to
what
thank
it
you
was?
for all the support. We want to thank you for not having us canceled. And we want to thank you for your continued support. We will see you next time on the Nothing But Trouble podcast, everyone. Good night.
Hey,
Good night, guys.
Peace out. Frank.